You're welcome again on the series, Activate Your Inner Peace. Today is the day 10 of this series. Yesterday, we looked at how to activate your inner powers of willpower and self-discipline in order to activate your inner peace. Having achieved the boost of willpower, it is important to learn how to strengthen it, how to sustain it. And that's what we'll be looking at today. What are the ways to strengthen your willpower? It is very possible to strengthen one's willpower. Research says that with the right practice and the right exercise, willpower can be strengthened just like any other muscle in the body. One sure way of strengthening your willpower is to work on your posture. Yeah, you heard me right. Posture. To practice this, every time you catch yourself slouching, either at work or in the home, simply correct your body posture. Correct yourself and sit up. This sounds easy, but I tell you, it takes willpower to observe and catch yourself slouching and correcting it to sit upright. It is even stronger or more difficult to practice sitting up straight. It takes more willpower to practice sitting up straight. So every time you catch yourself slouching and you correct yourself, we should have completed one rep, one round of strengthening your muscle, your willpower muscle. And this practice greatly improves your perseverance on other tasks. Number 2 way that you can strengthen your willpower is to get a journal. Journaling is such a powerful thing. It helps you in different ways. For me, I would advise keeping a food journal. So keeping an account of the food you eat in a day is a good way of testing your willpower, because it takes willpower to be able to track and journal, track and write down everything you ate in a day. Any other similar logging in of information, any other similar journaling would help a great deal. Something like the gratitude journal, it also helps a great deal. The gratitude journal is fabulous to keep as it fills up your mind with nice memories, thereby elevating your mind. For me, I like the food journal because it helps me monitor what I eat per time. It helps me manage junk food eating and evaluating the quantity I've consumed at any time, ultimately helping me to manage my weight and subsequently my health. The third thing that I would recommend today that can help you strengthen your willpower, having boosted it, would be to try the use of your opposite hand. Opposite hand is great. The idea here is to deliberately practice using your less dominant hand. So if you're right-handed, practice using your left hand. And if you're left-handed, practice using your right hand. Your brain is wired to use your dominant hand more often. So it takes willpower to consciously practice using the other hand, which prompts dedication to the use of the opposite hand. To get started, you need to select a chunk of the day to use your less dominant hand. It could be just for an hour. Just ensure that in that hour, you commit to using your less dominant hand for that duration. It stretches you and develops your sustainability power, which is your willpower. The fourth thing I would recommend is for you to switch your speech. Yes, switch how you talk. According to research, the ability to change your natural instinct of speaking takes a conscious effort, which develops your willpower. The ability to switch your speech takes a conscious effort that develops your willpower. And this can be done by resisting the urge to use words that you are accustomed to. But instead of using those words you are accustomed to, look for words that are related or similar in meaning to them and replace them with it. For instance, instead of saying hello, you can say hi. Again, you can choose to abolish the use of swear words and replace them with clear, simple fact instead of using the swear words. Personally, I deliberately, consciously try to avoid using conjunctions or contractions rather when writing. And it would be a great practice to also practice them in speaking. So instead of using words like can't, don't, you use I cannot, I do not. When you practice that consciously, it helps develop your willpower because it takes consciousness to keep remembering them and doing them. Sounds great, right? But you need to give it a practice. Likewise, every exercise needs deliberate practice. So when you have practiced this for say 2 weeks, you find out that your willpower to keep using them develops. It takes willpower to consciously go against your natural instincts of speaking. It does not really matter the word you choose to replace or how you choose to correct your speech or change it. The most important thing is that you alter your natural way of speaking, your natural way of speech. For starters, you could select a day to practice, or you could select a duration in a day to practice. In this day, try to identify those words you want to replace and find the replacing words for them. Then you consciously begin to practice them by replacing them with those new words instead of saying what you are accustomed to. And when you find yourself making a mistake or failing, do not beat yourself up. It takes deliberate practice to get perfect. So just as it takes time to form a habit, it also takes time to change any habit. Number 16 I will be recommending today is to practice self-imposed deadlines. Deadlines have a way of tuning out distractions from our mind and activating productivity, therefore taxing your willpower. Who can remember those days in school when you need to write an exam or a test and you go reading, trying all your best to memorize and possibly cram your notes just so that you can prepare for that exam and pass? What do you think actually took place? Can you still remember those days? I bet you do. What really made you memorize and even try to cram? What made you read? Do you think it was because you wanted to pass the exam? I tell you, the answer is no. What made you read, memorize, and possibly cram your notes was because you had deadline for the exam. If the exam dates were to be left open, a lot of people will still not read for that exam until the date is close at hand, and they end up memorizing and cramming. Only very few will not do this. And for those few, when you check closely, their willpower is already activated and they are at the best that they can be with their willpower. Because this is a natural human instinct. It is natural of human. It takes deliberate action of the mind to stop you from waiting till the last minute. That is why researchers say that giving yourself an imposed deadline helps you to activate your willpower. So you need to design and meet deadlines created by you. Be your own task manager today. Number 7 thing I will be recommending is for you to track your expenses. As a financial analyst, I cannot over-exaggerate if I told you that the bulk of your net profit have been wasted in your untracked, unnecessary expenses. Yes, the bulk of your net profit have languished in your untracked, unnecessary expenses. It is said that if you want to grow rich, cut down on your expenses. If you're doing business and you are not tracking your expenses, sorry, you need to evaluate if you are truly doing business or running a charity organization. How can you cut down on a spending you have not kept track on? That's close to impossible. In the same way, most of us don't track what we eat. Most of us also don't track what we spend on, how we spend this particular money. Research says that merely keeping track of your expenses and how your money was used would increase your willpower, even if you do not cut down on those spending. That's what research says. So the essence of this exercise is not to force you to cut down on your expenses, though it would be a great idea. But the essence of this exercise is to encourage you to keep track of your spendings so it can help you activate your willpower. A good way to do this would be to design a budget, and you could grab a book and start recording everything you purchase in a day, everything your money goes into, everything you spend on. If this is a stress for you, then you can get app. There are lots of apps that do that could help us achieve that today. Apps like Mint app, the iMoney, the spending tracker, and lots of them. There are quite a lot of them that do that. So by simply tracking your expenses, you will notice an increase in your focus and ability to resist temptation, like going for that buy one get one free, or spending on that candy. This is marketing psychology, and I tell you, the buy one get one free people are simply working on your psyche. So you need to resist that temptation and build your willpower just by tracking your expenses. Number 8 thing I will be recommending today is to push even when it burns. Have you ever tried to exercise to the extent that you drop or tear? Yes, that is what I'm recommending. For those of you who have tried planking, you would agree with me that it is not for kids. I know planking might be a walk in the park for some people, but the idea here is to try out an exercise that burns you out. For the truly determined people and those who planking is a walk in the park for, you could try squeezing a hand grip until exhaustion. You know, squeezing a hand grip gives your forearm a deep burn and a deep sense of pain, just like planking makes your body tremble when you are exhausted. So it takes willpower to keep squeezing or to keep planking at such a time. And this will help you strengthen your muscle of willpower. For today, I would be giving you 2 home play. Yes, 2 home play. So number 1 home play is for you to get a hand grip. By hand grip, I mean things like maybe a plier. It could be a table tennis bat even, or a spring grip. Just something you can hold on to. A plier would be very good. Squeeze it with each arm until you are exhausted. Keep squeezing. You can also try the dead hang exercise, pushing yourself to continue squeezing or to continue hanging even when it hurts will increase your perseverance on other challenges and tasks you meet in life. Number 2 home play will be for you to pick a task. Pick a task from your to-do list. Or if you don't have a to-do list, just pick any task you've been postponing and set a deadline for accomplishing this task. Be intentional about this deadline. Adhere to it. This will help you. Your ability to consistently push to meet this task on or before the deadline will help strengthen your willpower. This was exactly what I did for this series. So I've been procrastinating this series for quite a long time, and I woke up one day and created a flyer for it. I put a deadline even without knowing what to say. So in order to be accountable, I posted out this flyer out there so that you all can hold me accountable to it. Now that the flyer is out, I cannot afford to disappoint myself. My willpower became activated, and here we are today, the day 10 of the 15 days activate your inner peace. And I feel so activated. So, conclusively, like any muscle in the body, willpower can be strengthened with the right exercise. Willpower is a distraction detoxifier that activates your inner peace. So go today, pick a task, set a deadline, and activate your inner peace. Until I come your way again tomorrow, I remain your Serenity Coach, Chineye Mobi. Bye.